Hey everyone, today Sony just announced during their live stream the release of the Sony A9 Mark III with a global shutter. Let's talk more about it. So this morning, Sony announced the announcement of two new products they're adding to their amazingly growing product line. One is the FE 300mm f2.8 G Master Prime lens. It's an f2.8. But most importantly, I want to discuss the announcement of the Sony A9 Mark III that comes with a global shutter. So, first of all, the link to their live stream event will be posted down below, so make sure you go check that out. And before we really dive deep into the specs as well as my opinions about this camera, first make sure you go ahead and press that like, subscribe, and share this video, and make sure you hit that bell icon to get notifications of my upcoming content. All right, so let's head on over to SonyAlpha.com and check out the specs, and let's see what this camera is made of. And here are the major new features that are going to be very impressive for us to check out. Versus going through all the technical specs, this is much easier. Yes, it has a newly developed full frame stack 24 megapixel sensor, so that's great. It has a Bion XR image processing engine, and which will allow for continuous bursts up to 120 frames a second and capture 14-bit raw images in all still shooting modes. That's going to be phenomenal for whoever is using this camera. Blackout free shooting, which means we're never going to miss a shot thanks to the blackout free viewfinder, which does not black out even during fast-paced continuous shooting. Okay, so that's going to be great. Second is a continuous shooting speed boost. So this temporarily boosts the shooting speed while shooting burst, enabling the user to raise the frame rate to 120 frames. From what they explained, I've seen this kind of technology before, which is great to see that Sony's implementing it. But I've seen it in the past in Panasonic Lumix cameras, where you can shoot burst mode and you could pull the image from it, because that's how it's going to be done. For you to have 120 frames a second, you're not going to want 2 seconds worth of images to go through to find your best one. It's going to shoot basically a video, and then you could pull that still image from it, and then there's that one fantastic shot that you were looking for. And but as you're looking through your images in preview, it's going to look like it's basically like a movie clip, a collection of those 120 frames, and then you just pull that favorite one from there. This is a great advantageous feature. I've seen it and used it before in other camera systems, so this is great that this has it, because it's going to allow you to have a more accurate shot, or more chance to get that shot that you've been looking for. All right, capture essential moments with innovative high-speed burst support. Now, that burst support is something we all know because Nikon has implemented it. It's called the pre-capture, which makes it possible to capture moments that occurred before the shutter was released. That's right. That means for up to the 120 images per second. It's temporarily stored while the shutter speed is half pressed up to 1 second before it is captured. Now, that means for you wildlife and sports shooters, this is going to be a phenomenal feature for you. It's no longer just what we're talking about in Nikon. Sony has that as well. This could also even help me as a portrait and fashion photographer when I'm shooting a runway and I want that precise moment, that precise shot. And a lot of times there is a chance that I could miss it while the model's walking toward me, etc. This pre-capture feature can be very, very handy on the runway. Now, we also have ultra fast shutter speed, which is going to be crazy. 1/80,000th of a second. Up to 1/80,000th of a second. That's crazy. That means you're going to be able to capture fast-paced action at sports events and even more. And anything, really. Someone blinking, someone sneezing. It doesn't matter. You're going to be able to capture it. 80,000th of a second. That's crazy. Make it possible to capture a bullet leaving the barrel of a rifle at shooting competition. Okay, that's what they're saying on the site. I'd love to see it. I wouldn't be surprised, but that's pretty crazy. Here's another thing. Wide, fast, precise autofocus. Now this one it says it has a fast hybrid autofocus system, right? Phase detect, obviously, with precision contrast detection autofocus, reliably locking on, tracking on subjects. But here's the thing: 759 phase detect points and high density focal plane phase detection autofocus system that covers approximately 95.6 of the image area. So basically, you're not going to miss hitting whatever it is that you're trying to get. If you're looking for your subject and it's moving all over the screen, you pretty much are going to get it. Just halfway press, boom, it's locked in. And from what I've been told from users of Sony, you're not going to miss a shot. That's for sure. And the images I was seeing during the live stream event, it looked phenomenal, and the opportunities to miss the shot was definitely there. There were athletes in water, a gang of them running, horse, all sorts of stuff moving all over the place, and it seemed to lock on pretty well. Of course, we all know it's a promo video, but it's safe to say I think we're gonna get the same results in real life. All right. Reliable recognition of a wider range of subjects. Okay, they increase the ability for you to choose more accurate autofocus detection, which is probably part of the AI processing unit that they further enhanced and increased the capabilities of, which is great. So it's talking about, and now has capable of recognizing helmets as those worn by drivers of Formula race cars. Animal recognition can recognize the eyes of some grazing in some animals, in addition to the eyes, heads, and bodies of dogs, cats, and similarly featured animals. Bird recognition also has been updated, more easily pinpointing the eyes, a variety of bird types, and recognizing bird bodies, plus a new animal bird setting eliminates the need to switch between two settings to choose animals or birds. So that's cool. So they've basically improved it and streamlined that feature. All right. We also have human pose estimation using a skeleton-based model. Now, this is interesting. So with its innovative AI processing unit, the A9III can subject form data to accurately recognize movement. Human pose estimation technology recognizes not just as eyes, but also body and head positions with high precision. This makes it possible to look onto and track a subject facing away from the camera whose face is covered. This is great. This is really, really awesome. Again, this is going to be able to allow us to capture phenomenal portraits, no matter the kind of wardrobe, face mask, etc. Or in my case, walking down a runway of a model. This is going to be great that I'm going to get even a higher precision with the autofocus with a camera like this. Now, granted, I do shoot Nikon, but hearing this kind of technology out there is very, very good news for all of us photographers out there, because again, competition means we all win. That's why I'm happy to hear the news of Sony right now, because some of this technology is going to bleed into our other cameras out there. For you Canon shooters, our Fuji shooters, and Panasonic shooters, and Nikon shooters, some of this is going to bleed over there, and we should all rejoice when we hear about new, accurate technology that's going to allow us to improve our photography. So, all right. So that's cool. Next thing. Composite raw shooting reduces noise. All right, so composite raw shooting captures multiple images for 8/16:32, which can then be merged using Sony's Imaging Edge desktop computer app software to create full resolution images. We'll say that again. Create full resolution images with very little noise. This makes it possible to shoot wildlife at higher shutter speeds or portraits in low light, achieving exceptionally high image quality with low noise. So this is going to be great, especially when you're shooting in challenging lighting conditions, or in this case, shooting wildlife at higher shutter speeds, because then you'd have to boost the ISO if you're trying to freeze that subject. So I'm glad this is I'm glad that's built in there. Again, this is something that we should rejoice that camera technology and softwares within them are helping to ensure that we get clean images regarding the lighting condition. This is good news. This is good stuff. Advanced optical 5-axis image stabilization. Now, every camera has that, so that's nothing. That's nothing special. But here's the thing. It offers up to 8 stops of in-body stabilization, not total, not with the camera and the lens. We're talking about just body only, 8 stops of stabilization. That is awesome. That means with your lens, you're probably going to get 9 plus stops of image stabilization. That's going to be phenomenal. We have up to 128 autofocus tracking calculations per second, okay? Ultimately, you're going to be able to track your subject without any problems, okay? So it says here, let the camera keep track. The high-speed readout of the new image sensor enables the A9 III to make up to 128 tracking calculations per second, twice that of its predecessor. Autofocus tracks complex subject motions and predicts sudden movements with greater precision than ever before. The A9 continues to track even during continuous shooting, also contributing to greater precision. So that is crazy. That's the 120 frames that we're looking to get, hopefully all sharp. So next is advanced image sensor with global shutter system for distortion-free images. That's right. It's going to have a global shutter. Let's see. The benefits from movie making as well as still photography. Rolling shutter distortion is non-existent, so natural looking footage can be captured regardless of subject or camera movement, even when shooting from a fast moving vehicle or panning the camera quickly. Come on. You know we're all going to be happy to hear about it. We all can't wait to see what this camera can do. Obviously, let's stay tuned. We're going to see many YouTubers test this camera, put it out there, and I hope it lives up to the hype. All right. Now, for video, we have 4K at 120 frames a second without cropping. Without cropping. Thank you. That is awesome. I love to get a full frame camera, 4K, 120, 0 crop. That's great. So which is going to be this is the first time in an alpha body. So let's all rejoice for that. Flash sync at all shutter speeds. Let me repeat that. Flash sync at all shutter speeds. That means up to the 80,000th of a second, you can be able to sync your flash to this camera. The A9 can perform full flash synchronization right up to that 80,000th of a second shutter speed. So it allows you to be used for extra subject illumination when shooting outdoors in bright daylight with a high shutter speed, reducing the need for large lighting setups and vastly expanding creative shooting possibilities. So let's say if you only have the 300, Godox 8300, there's a possibility you can still light your subject quite fine when you can have a shutter speed up to 80,000. All right, now we have dynamic active mode stabilization, high precision stabilization unit, and gyro sensors built into the camera that support by optimized image stabilization algorithms allow advanced electronic stabilization to work in conjunction. Okay. Now this mode I have seen and used in other camera systems before. It's a dynamic active mode. So basically it's as if you were while hand holding, it's like you're basically using a monopod. Okay. So this allows you to get 30% more stabilization out of your sensor. Now, some people like using it. Some people don't. I've used it. It works really well when used properly. It's not for every situation that you want to keep this feature on, but it's a great way to get a little bit more stabilized shot while hand holding your camera. So that's a great feature. S-Cinetone for cinematic look, of course. That picture profile is in there, and so is S-Log is in there too. What else is there? And that is ultimately... Oh, here's one thing I noticed in the comment section of the live chat during the live stream, people were asking about the memory cards. So this camera comes with 2 CF Express Type A media slots. Okay, so it comes with 2, and it's, as I said, 2 CF Express Type A. Okay, now these are ideally suited for high-speed continuous shooting, especially up to 120 frames a second, and also allows stills. Record mode. Okay, so that's what it is. CF Express. Oh, it has. Oh, excuse me. So when we're talking about memory, it has as well. It also has 1 UHS 1 and 1 UHS 2 SD cards. The A9III's media slots support CF Express Type A cards. Oh, well, holy cow. Okay, so you could use either or. That's pretty cool. All right, so there you go. So if you want CF Express Type A, there you go. And if you want to use 2 SD cards, Mazel Tov, there you go. That's just a quick peek at the features of the new Sony A9 Mark III. There's a lot to unfold, unpack, and digest. Granted, I didn't get my hands on this. I was live streaming it with most of you out there, but I can honestly say I'm super excited to hear about the technology that's packed into this camera, and the price for it is actually quite fair, and it's priced at $5,999. So for $6,000, you're getting a very feature-rich package for any professional shooters out there, whether it be portraits, landscape, wildlife, and especially sports shooters out there. As I mentioned earlier, even though that I primarily shoot Nikon and Lumix, hearing this technology being implemented is really good news for all of us, quite honestly, because we're gonna see more of this leaked into the camera systems. Competition is really good for us consumers overall. So I rejoice when I hear new innovations being implemented, because eventually their competition is going to pick that up. I do want to give a big shout out to Sony for continuing to innovate and push technology when it comes to the photography space. I'm really excited to see the response by other camera manufacturers out there. Either way, as I said, us photographers, we win. So with all that said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know what you think down below. What do you think of this camera? Do you think at $6,000, is this camera at a good price? If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more, don't forget to press that like, that share, to subscribe, and yes, smash that bell icon to get notifications for my upcoming content. I'm Robert Silver, and until next time, keep shooting and stay creative.